I'll explain in a second. Anyway, welcome everybody. Super stoked to have you on an art business workshop. My name's Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts, and I want to get the agenda going for today. So, gonna start with a very high level demo, kind of who we are, what we do, brief look at the software, brief look at the marketing, some of the secret sauce, baked in for good measure, and then I will come back and rant for a little bit on some topics, and then we can get into the best part, which is your Q&A. Really looking forward to it. So, all right, on that note, take it away, Taylor. And I'll see you guys in just a sec.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're gonna find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're gonna hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it, raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes, and that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're gonna send this to you after today's session ends. We're gonna email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are 2 halves to Art Storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work, you get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts, you save up for it, eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color, how's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions, your website does not answer them, and they never get it answered, they leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go, got the help for you right here, problem solved, keep going, keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, G-clay print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need. Right, so let's step it up. The 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here, and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real, actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home, and our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
All right, thanks, pre-recorded Taylor. You know, it's funny, as I watch that video, we run 3 of these things a week, thrice weekly, and so just to save on brain power, we run that pre-recorded clip, and it's been going for like 2 months now, and I'm sitting there looking at it, taking notes today, going, my goodness, we have to change so much of it. The common misconception out there is that we are a website company, and that's what we do primarily. Obviously, there's a component of that in what we do, but because I've had so many of these calls, talked to so many artists and photographers week in, week out, essentially since the pandemic started, I know that 99% of you do not have a website problem, or it's not your biggest problem. What do I mean? I am the genie that just came out of the lamp. I will take your website, Gail, yours, Alan, yours, Tom, your bills, and I'll put it wherever you want. You want it on our servers? I'll put it on our servers. You want it on Squarespace, Shopify, Wix, any of them. Just doing that, just that move alone is not going to substantially or formatively change any of your businesses. You're not going to go from selling what you're selling now to selling a tremendous amount more, because your biggest problem, every artist and photographer's problem, is primarily a marketing one. Yes, it can be a website one, but it's only a website one if you've already have a huge email list or driving a tremendous amount of traffic. So while we appear on the surface as a website company, it's just one of like 6 things that we do. Because the problem is marketing, because the problem that everyone has, because it's never going away. We advocate for sort of a new business model, which is DTC, direct to consumer, not new period, but new for most photographers and artists, to sell directly to your customer, to keep all of the data on your customer, to be able to market in perpetuity to your potential customers, but then also to have the responsibility of driving the traffic and the eyeballs to your business, in sharp contrast to, you know, a local gallery that you're doing, or if you're driving the show and fair circuit because they have the attention, you're showing up, you're plugging into it, or if you're uploading to one of the many online galleries, they have the attention, you're sort of plugging into it. You do all of those, you don't keep your customer data for the most part. It's a 50-50 split on revenue, or, you know, if you're capturing leads out of the shows and fairs, great, but you have the booth fees as well as you have to geographically move. So we believe DTC is sort of the future of selling art and photography. But for us as a business, the only way we succeed is if we have successful customers. If we take artists and photographers and we teach them to market and help them grow successful businesses, then it turns out our business thrives. So yes, we have to have a website solution. Yes, we do have a website solution. That's one portion of what we do. Yes, we have all of the back office tools and we automate fulfillment so that you don't have to do any of that stuff. I mean, a contact database, all the taxes, all the shipping, handling all the printing, so you spend no time on that. Also, you have more time to spend on marketing. Yes, we have what we're effectively calling the Art Business University, which is we take Zoom classes like this with our customers week in, week out, and we teach you how to market all year long. It can be how to run a live art show on Instagram and Facebook and do so with your cell phone. We will teach every single solitary technical aspect of it. Then we will ask your questions about it, and then we'll bring on customers that have done it before successfully. You'll get to learn in a peer environment in that capacity with them, and we find that makes the tremendous difference. Prior to the pandemic, we were essentially, you know, an online learn at your own pace organization, right? We had great blog posts and great podcasts and great what we call playbooks, which are the step-by-step guides on how to do everything. Just audio, video guide, how to run Facebook ads, how to do an email campaign, how to go live on the socials, how to post on the socials, how to spruce up your Instagram profile. We have all these playbooks that teach you how to do it. But online learning, and it doesn't matter which stat you pull from, sort of sucks. Nobody ever finishes it. People that take these online classes, the stat is, and it doesn't matter whether it's Masterclass or lynda.com or Kajabi or any of the ones that are out there, 30% of the people that buy the class finish the class. Why? Because learning on your own at your own pace in a vacuum without your peers is just not a good recipe for success. That's just the stats on it. So we put everybody into Zoom classes and we teach. And that's how it started at first. And it's morphed since then, which I think is kind of interesting. And I'll just tell you about it, some inside baseball, but it's super interesting. The analogy I have is that because it was a brand new thing for us, we essentially built this giant schoolhouse, and then we put everyone from kindergartners to graduate students in the same schoolhouse. Well, that's pretty suboptimal, right? Because you're teaching people that are at this level and that are at this level and have everything in between. So we've since taken what we call office hours, part of the Art Business University. We have a Thursday class, which is pretty much for everybody that wants to attend. We have a class for people that are $2,000 in revenue below, and then we have a class for the advanced folks that are really successful. You know, I'm not going to reveal the revenue threshold, but it's pretty significantly high. And we just keep working on that level of sophistication, that level of teaching, and what you're at, what stage of the game you're at, how much you sold offline and on, what are the circumstances particular to you. So that's a pretty incredible thing. On those sessions, again, we do one-on-one consulting, right? Like, you know, Gail could have a problem, Bill, Doug, Tom can have a problem, Alan, and you come in, you ask, our experts will reply, and you know, we're all seasoned entrepreneurs. We are pretty advanced digital marketers, many of us many years in the art and photography industries. And then also we have the data on, I think, 4,400 plus customers now. So I get a look at the analytics for the ones that are really selling well. I see what they're doing. I have a very good understanding of what works and what doesn't work. So we've got all of that going. What's new, and again, going back to taking those notes on Taylor's video, I think we have an 80-20 on our customer base. So 80% are working full time, have a job. The art or the photography is a side hustle, or perhaps it's a component of a service-based business. If they're a photographer, you know, they're doing some sort of service-based photography, but they also want to sell their work on the side. 20% are full-time artists. In the case of the 80%, limited hours of time in a day, they want to invest in their business. So we've started what we believe will very soon be the single solitary biggest art and photography specific in-house marketing agency that exists. And so we now have a marketing agency. We're helping with things like email campaigns, with Facebook ads, with Instagram strategy, with some of the other lead generation techniques we have. And we're still in the beta phases of that. It's probably 4 months old now, but I think we're well over 30 or 40 paying customers in that, and we're growing that up. So all of it is through the lens of success. But we believe, again, selfishly, right, cynically, if you like, our business grows when our customers are successful. Period, full stop. So that's what we're dedicated to doing. And a website's not enough. You know, Shopify's got this stat that 99% of Shopify owners that start a site on them, the business fails. And it's not a knock on Shopify. Their software's fantastic for what it does. Their education's good too. But the larger point is the website is not the problem. The problem is the marketing, getting the attention to grow the business. And so we realized, okay, that's actually the problem we're solving for. It's not the website problem. We're solving for the marketing problem. And in doing that, you have to attack from all these various different things. Yes, we have to have the education, you learn at your own pace. Yes, we have to have the live teaching sessions like that we have right now. Yes, you have to have an agency for people that just don't want to do it, period. And yes, you have to have a Facebook group where you can go and there's a whole group of your peers that are selling well, that are publishing their numbers. And you can say, hey, how did you do that? Hey, can I follow your Facebook page? Hey, can I look at your emails? Yes, you can see. So all of that is happening in concert. And as the final profundity of it all, I would say, and then we'll get into your questions, is what's the best way to sell art or photography? Trick question, in person, face to face. Okay, no one's arguing that. That's what it is, full stop. Problem is, we're all geographically fixed on this earth and we all sleep. So you gotta have a website. The website's up, it's working at all times, it can serve 1,000 people concurrently. That's all well and good, fantastic. There's a new hybrid in between, and it's been around for a while, but now it's just doing its prominence. And it's video. It's exactly what we're doing right now on a Zoom session, one-on-one, face-to-face. For us as a business versus for you guys as a business, I believe that face-to-face selling of art, of photography on video, whether it's one-to-one or one-to-many, represents the single solitary greatest disruption that this industry has seen in the last 25 years, maybe 50, maybe 100. You can set up an appointment with somebody, have a Facebook Messenger call, a Zoom call, whatever service you have, whether it's a free service or paid, and you can talk about your art, articulate it, merchandise, show it off, and have a one-on-one with the prospective buyer, all without leaving the comfort of your home, all without them leaving the comfort of their home. It is profound. how it makes a difference for us, we believe that we are moving our business, which is technically a digital software slash education business, towards being open 9 to 5 instead of on Main Street in a retail capacity on Main Street of the internet. We are going to be open 9 to 5. We're already almost there all day, every day for our customers, meaning you can come in at any point in time during the day, jump into a Zoom session and get technical support, jump in, get marketing support. We will have sessions teaching whatever it is. And I think it's it's an analogy that you're starting to hear on the fringes, but as sort of accelerated by COVID, as accelerated by the fact that everyone has more bandwidth, as accelerated by the fact of how good the software is getting. I mean, Zoom alone, I've run thousands of these sessions, and aside from some punks trying to hack me one time early on, I've never had a problem. Period. Ever. The thing's just up all the time. It just works flawlessly all the time. Every once in a while, somebody has like a mic or a video problem, but other than that, it just works. So we're going to be open in this capacity, face to face, 9 to 5. That's where we're going. We're already starting to have sessions on the weekend. So we'll go from 40 hours a week to 50 to 60. And I literally think the analogy is just, it's no different than a retail store being open. It's no different than walking into the Apple store and saying, hey, I've got a problem with this. Can I talk to somebody? And if you can sit down and talk with somebody, you can get your problem solved. We can do that in a judicious manner that would have maybe taken, 24 hours, 36 hours, 46 hours, whatever it is, a week for a callback. Like before, I could have told all of you guys on this call, hey, we're a great business. Here's all the reasons we're a great business. Here, read some blog posts. Here, go listen to a podcast. Here, let me send you some follow-up material. Here, read this email. Okay, that was all well and good, but what if I just throw you directly into one of these sessions like you're in right now? I can articulate all of this just like I'm doing right now, and then we can talk about it face to face. How much more efficient is that? Whether you're going to do business with us or not, how much more efficient is that? Instantaneously, you can find out if we know what we're talking about, if we're a good fit for you, if you think this is a good option for you now. If it's not, it's more efficient for you, it's more efficient for us. And so we sort of believe it's the future, and we believe it's the future for your guys' businesses too. So yeah, that's what I got. That's my rant. Quickly, and I'm going to get into the questions. One, we're going to probably end up mentioning a bunch of links. I'm gonna show you guys a bunch of things. We're going to talk about various things. People are going to have some really good questions. You might want to go back to it after the fact. And so this is what I'm going to email you after the fact. It will have the video from today's session. It will have what's called the table of contents. Each one of these things is a little clickable link. And so if I click on one, what it does is it sends me to the recording exactly at that moment. So I know you guys are short on time. All you have to do is just click one of those links. Boom, it goes there. The show notes will have every single solitary link if we're mentioning a particular thing or this or that or the other. And all of this, will go to your email right after the fact. The only other thing I would say is if you're not subscribed to our Art Business Morning Show yet, highly think you should. Easiest way to do that is on YouTube, although it is a podcast too. April will throw a link. All you have to do is click that thing and say yes, and you'll get notified when we do this. The show is really good. It's completely free. It's the most up-to-date knowledge, information that we have. You get to see how the sausages are made, what's selling. Like it's a really, really good show. So highly recommend you subscribe to that. And I will leave it there in terms of announcements and jump right into the questions. If you want to raise your hand and go through that thing and ask on video, you can do so. You don't have to be on video if you don't want to. I hate video too. If you want to throw the question in the chat, you can certainly throw it in the chat as well. And Gail, we'll start with you. You'll need to unmute yourself. It's the bottom. Yep, gotcha.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure.
My question, I don't even know how to word this. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't understand, but I'm a new convert to the idea of prints.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work? So the people that print at our art storefront, how do they deal with the signature on the print? Say I have an original that's 30 by 40, but if someone wants a 40 by 60, that signature is going to be too big. What happens to the signature?
Yep. So I can come at this from a couple of different ways. I'm going to answer it, which I think is the most direct answer to your question. So, your original gets digitized, right, such that it can be reproduced, and then it scales up and it scales down. So the signature will scale up with the bigger sizes, and it will scale down with the smaller sizes. And there'll be no digital loss if it goes up or if it goes down, and it just sort of scales perfectly. That's number one. Number two If you'd prefer to hand sign, then you can do that as well. And in that case, we recommend people charge actually a little bit more money for it, because what happens is that our printer will print the order, ship it to you. You will open the packaging, take the piece out, sign it by hand, push it right back into that packaging, and then ship it to the final destination. Does that make sense? It's literally not a problem for anybody.
It does make sense. I've had prints made before in the past, and it's to scale, but the signature is way bigger than if I had painted the original that size. I don't want the signature to be huge. I want it
Yeah,
to
I
be my
understand what you're
normal
saying.
signature.
It's literally never been an issue. I've never even heard of this being an issue coming up at all. Just non-issue straight up. Like, it scales perfectly. It won't pixelate. It won't be gigantic. It'll be just the size it is. Or alternatively, depending. I mean, I'm assuming you have what do you have a whole bunch of originals that you plan on getting digitized and then start selling those? So all of them have a signature on them already, I assume, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they all are signed.
Yeah, yeah. It really won't be an issue. I'm telling you, it's never been an issue. It really hasn't. I mean, and also too, like, the quality of the digital file that you deliver will cap what size it can go to. Most of the time, it doesn't go that much bigger than the original anyway, right?
Okay.
So the signature is never going to be that much bigger than the original anyway, right? And the huge pieces, very few people buy anyway. It's sort of on the tail end of the bell curve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Okay, next up is Tom Bates. Tom, go ahead, Tom.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for these sessions.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's funny. I usually hate repetition in anything, and I love the fact that things get repeated here because I need to hear these to change my mindset. I need to hear them over and over again.
I love that. Hey, you have to give me credit for mixing it up a little bit, though. I would go crazy if I didn't mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely. I just mean, usually it's something I run for when I see repetition anywhere, but in this case, I need it as well as all the other new information each time.
Wonderful.
And my sympathies to your smoke issues. I live in Santa Barbara, and we've had lots of that this year.
Yeah, it's 2020 just continues to be awesome. Yeah.
Anyway, my question today is focused on, as I said last time, I'm starting with Instagram, and what I don't understand there, and I'd like to see if you could talk a little bit about this, is you can't get someone's email off of Instagram directly. So when I make is the idea to use Instagram to do things like announce sales, or to and I'm not even sure, so far all I've posted is just images of art with a tiny bit of description, and that's it. I'm concerned about, before I get too far in posting more stuff, that I have a better understanding of how it will be used efficiently in the process of selling the art.
Yeah, I could give you a couple of different ones there. One, I would say early on, you're overthinking it, right? Because you got a lot of work to do there. And sometimes the best way to learn is just to learn. And bear with me for a second. I have an annoyance that is just in my photo here and not getting, he's just in my zone, not getting it. Hold on. Out. Higgins? Hey. All right. I think that's pacified him. I apologize. 80-pound sheepadoodle, so he just sits in my lap. And anyway, one, you're overthinking it. You got a ton of work to do there to figure it all out. That's number one. Number two, Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a famous marketing guy, has this saying called jab, 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 right hook. And it's a wonderful analogy. And the jab, 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 right hook is, most people that just get started marketing digitally, they think they're going to be just right hooking all the time. What do I mean right hook? Buy my art now, 40% off. Buy my art, sale. Buy one, get one free. Buy my art immediately. And those are the right hooks. You don't want to go around swinging just right hooks. Nobody wants to be sold to all the time. So the jabs, in the analogy, is just giving awesome content away for free. Post an image, talk about it, talk about your process, talk about you holding the image, talk about whatever that you're doing that's fun and unique to you. And it doesn't have to be what you had for breakfast this morning. It can be an annoying 80-pound sheepadoodle that just jumped in your lap. People want to get to know you, right? In your case, wax poetically about some of the science stuff that you love, right? Like, get some of that stuff in there. The idea there is that People follow you because you're posting interesting content. They like the artwork, yes, but you're not selling to them all the time. Then when the time comes to sell, because you jabbed, it's sort of given you the audacity to ask for the sale. And so that's number one. Number two, I underscore, like, you can't just post 2D image after 2D image after 2D image after 2D image after 2D image, because that is boring, okay? That is significantly, significantly boring. Hold the print. Hold the finished product occasionally. Talk about the finished product occasionally. Mix it up in terms of what you post. Sometimes some videos, sometimes some
like
stills.
In a video short or something?
Yeah. Mixed bag of everything is what works the best, straight up. And you can, like, when the sale, the idea is that you build the attention on Instagram. Incredibly powerful to be able to do the live videos. Until you build up an audience, you do a live video, you get no action whatsoever. But the live videos are really, really good. And it takes time, you know. It's going to take you a couple of years to build up a big following on Instagram,
I'm okay
and that's how it goes. Yeah. You got to just do it like really, really consistently, you know.
And who was this person you mentioned again? The jab right hook.
His name's Gary Vaynerchuk. April, get a link to that book, throw it in the chat, and then we can put it in the show notes too. It's a good primer on how to understand how to market on Instagram. But you know,
okay, great.
what's amazing about Instagram, so you can't post links, okay? You can't post links in it aside from one link in your bio. That's number one. Number two, after you get 10,000 followers, which takes quite some time, then you can swipe up on YouTube, or swipe up on the stories and get a link out. But what's incredibly powerful is the instant messaging, or the direct messaging, which is essentially can be thought of as the email system within inside Instagram. And you can basically go on there and send anybody a message. And once you send a message, you can open up communication, you can include links, you can do just about anything. And, you know, we really stress what we like to call hand-to-hand combat, right? It's doing the things that don't scale. And let me kind of just say a brief story on it, and it'll make more sense, and then I'll tie it back to Instagram. Everybody thinks or is sold the idea in their mind, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to get a website. I'm going to put all my work up there. People are just going to come and buy it, and they're not going to talk to me ever, right? Total BS, okay? That is not the way art is sold. Most of the time, first of all, there's a rule. Once pieces get above, call it like $11, $12, $1,300, somebody wants to talk to somebody. Nobody wants to part with that much money without talking to somebody, full stop, right? And so a lot of what we have built into our technology encourages this notion of hand-to-hand combat. What do I mean? If I come on to Bill's site and I put an item in the cart and I leave, our little system pops up a message and says, hey, Bill, Patrick was just on the site. He just looked at this item. He left. Send him a personalized message. And so a message automatically populates, and Bill can change the text, or he can click send. The message would say, hey, Patrick, thanks so much for checking that out. People have questions about that piece all the time in the media types. If you'd like to jump on a call real quick and talk about it, I'm available. Let me know, right? So that type of hand-to-hand combat where you're reaching out, you're doing exactly what you would do in a retail store, right? Like, you know, if you're sitting in a retail store and I walk, and it's the Apple store, and you're working there, and you see me walk up and look at the iPhone, and then look at the iPad, and then go look at a case, and then come back to the iPhone, you're gonna be like, oh, hey, Patrick, did you have any questions about the iPhone or the iPad, right? Like, that's how it would go down. All we're trying to do is mimic what happens in retail sales. So how does it happen in Instagram? So in Instagram, somebody can really leave an awesome comment on one of your posts, right? And you can go right on there and just say, hey, Tom, thanks for that amazing comment. I really, really appreciate it. It really made my day, right? And then they're going to respond back in the message, and they're going to say, yeah, oh, Tom, that piece is just incredible. I'd love to talk to you about it. And you're going to respond back and go, yeah, I'd love to talk to you about it too. Do you want to set up a FaceTime when I can show you the original, or I can show you the print?
As a direct message, not
exactly
as just response in the
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's really powerful too. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to spin it, but that's how it works.
Right. One more quick question. I'm kind of in my other life, I'm a data junkie, I would say.
Yep.
And I'm curious. You just mentioned one of the things when you're talking with Gail that I'm concerned about, and I'll just cut to the chase of the data part for me. Do you guys have something like, you know, a graph, a bell curve of size versus sales, that how big things, you know, like this size sells a lot, these huge ones sell not very frequently, et cetera?
Yeah, we could, and we obviously do have the data. I don't think it would be statistically significant. It's too hard. The basis of comparison is too hard. Like there's so many different niches and subject materials and reasons the size goes this size or the size goes that size.
Okay, there's too many dimensions.
There's too many dimensions, and then you get one person that's selling $800,000 or $900,000 or $1 million worth of art a year, and then someone else is still awesome, but they're just growing their career and they're selling like $2,000 for the year, right? Like, so to weight it all and try to run the numbers, and we've done some initial stuff, but it's no recipe for success working backwards that way, right? You want a recipe for success that is working backwards? Start with crazy demand and then work backwards and create art for them. That works. Trying what is the best-selling size, and I'm just going to make that size. What is the most important price point? I'm just going to make that price point. What is the best-selling media type? And just do that media type. A little bit of mirror in that one, but still, that none of those are recipes for success. You gotta work the other way around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, son.
I have to go pick up my father-in-law from a medical appointment. So
good times. Good luck with that. God bless you for doing it. I think it's amazing what you do. Okay, Ollie B or Ali B, one or the other. Can't tell. You're up next. You have to unmute. Yep, you got it.
Yeah. Hi. Okay, so I have a question.
Yep.
I've been actually following you for a while, and I'm actually considering, highly considering joining you guys. But
Okay.
here's my question. So I'm a photographer, and I have different images with different aspect ratios, which, I crop things accordingly to how I think it'll make the image more powerful.
Yep.
So let's say somebody were to purchase an 11 by 14. Does your system have a way of not just like, if it's an 11 by 14, cropping because I know, let's say the aspect ratio doesn't really, fits.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
14, but
It doesn't matter. You upload the image and it'll automatically tell you what sizes it can go up to and go down, and you pick those and off you go.
Okay, so you don't have to, I won't have to personally go in there.
Nope.
And
nope.
No, oh, that's
nope.
Great.
None of that. Yep.
Okay, great.
I'm not even really sure that hurts you. Like, it hurts you in a certain extent, to the sense that, like, what if there's pre-made frames or something, right? But other than that, like, they can print anything, any size. It doesn't even matter. So, it's square, rectangle, whatever. It's just up to you. I don't even think it hurts you really all that bad.
So even if, like, let's say somebody were to order something in an acrylic, it would be printed so it looks good with an acrylic. It's not going to look. Does it have to be like a standard size?
No,
acrylic?
not at all. Not at all. Yeah, you're all good there. If
Great.
anything, that probably helps you, because it's at least a differentiating factor to your photography in comparison to everyone else's, right? One unique way to stand out, anyway, I think.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too. My pleasure, Ali.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Jeff and Olga.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, I've been going through your Facebook ads process of creating audience. And I'm doing the kitchen sink audience.
Okay.
And I'm noticing that the interfaces are a little different from your screenshots.
Oh man, you want to talk about like the best job security you could have as a human being? Be somebody that makes tutorials on Facebook ads. Okay. On this last go round for our customers, I had to do like another version of it, and I'm not kidding. It took me 2 weeks to make all these videos, because there's like 65 videos, because there's so much going on. The day I finish it, they change the entire interface. The day. And I'm just like, I'm done with it. I'm not doing it again. I don't care. It's so infuriating.
So I could figure that part out.
Yeah, it's infuriating.
So the question that I had was, I think, have they changed their policy in terms of being able to update, create audiences?
No, not at all. Not at all. All the same.
Okay, so the audience I was looking at, you had talked about the using your contacts and also using friends and family.
Absolutely.
Using that list. The only option to be able to upload that I could see was based upon quote customers.
Yep, you just use customers.
So you just use customers.
Yep.
So in it asks you to confirm these are all customers.
Yes, you just say yes.
You just say yes and go with it. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you, Patrick.
Yep, no problem. Another question though. So you're going to step into Facebook ads. How much have you sold so far? What else are you doing in terms of marketing? Oh, maybe. Yeah, there you
Yes.
go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not a lot.
Yeah.
What I was looking at was this is a warm list as
Hmm.
you've identified it, and it's starting to look at taking that warm list and then harvesting interest,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact. I like the fact that you're starting with the warm list because you're definitely listening to me on that. And I should give the context for the other people on the call. Then this will help you too, Jeff. So the danger with Facebook ads and Instagram ads across the board is the premise. Okay. The premise that artists and photographers get in their head is there some easy way to phone it in and just give money to a machine and all of a sudden it's going to generate sales for you. So people start boosting posts. People start doing interest targeting. People give it a shot. Uh, uh, I would sooner advise that you go to Vegas, some of it's still open, and gamble with the money. You're going to have better odds. Or light it on fire. Winter's coming. It might be a nice way to keep your house warm. Okay? Don't do it. I don't advocate a single solitary one of our customers, even the ones that are huge, run ads to cold traffic. What do I mean? Think just relationships, okay? Cold means you've never been introduced. You, your brand, your art, your photography has never been introduced to that person. It's the first time you've met them, right? Warm, which can have obviously just met you the other day, all the way to people that have known you your entire life, your best collectors, and everything in between. Showing ads to your warm audience is a genius move if. Okay, a couple ifs. One, the dirty little secret about Facebook and Instagram is showing ads to the warm audience, okay, is just the paid plan for Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram have two plans. They have a free plan and they have the paid plan. They don't publish the difference between these two. There's no pricing table. There's no way you can go and sign up for it. But the paid plan is running ads consistently, by which I mean 7 days a week, 365, to your warm audiences. What do I mean? Jeff knows this, but I advocate that you do this to the kitchen sink audience. The kitchen sink audience is your family and friends read your entire address book, upload it into an audience in Facebook. Anyone that's ever visited your website before on Facebook, anyone that's visited your Facebook page or interacted with it in the past 365 days. This includes likes, comments, shares, sent you messages. Anyone that's integrated with your integrated, engaged with your Instagram page 365 days. Also, any customers you've ever had, any potential customers you've ever had, all of those go up. They get combined into the kitchen sink audience. So why is it the paid plan? These are all the people that have experienced, know who you are, have engaged with your art before, okay, have some familiarity with you. Back in the day when Facebook and Instagram were growing, okay, they needed us more than we needed them. As such, what would happen? I would follow AMZ's Facebook page and I would see 100% of the posts AMZ made, okay? Or AMZ would follow my brand page and he would see 100% of the posts that I made. Well, we hit a point where Facebook was growing organically at such a clip that they didn't need us anymore. So now when I post 10 times, AMZ maybe sees one of those posts. Maybe one of those posts. So too with Instagram. So the paid plan just takes us back to the good old days. All it does is it ensures all of the people that know us, like us, trust us, bought, potentially will buy, see all of our posts. That's all it is. It's no different than the cable bill at your house. It's something that you have to pay for on a monthly basis, and you never shut it off. You never, ever shut it off. The problem is that you need to be marketing regularly in order to see the ROI on that. What do I mean? You need to be capturing emails. You need to be emailing those emails. You need to be having a sale when the time is right. You need to understand all the mechanics of that. Ideally, you need to be going live on the socials, on Facebook, on Instagram, occasionally talking about your art. If you do all that, you have to be on the paid plan. So my question, Jeff, you thought you were off the hook. Are we doing that? Are we capturing emails? Are we emailing those emails regularly? Are we having sales? Because if you're not, then you're not going to see the ROI from it. If you are, then you will see the ROI from it.
Yeah, we're
We're working on it.
No, well, we have the ads, we have MailChimp, we've got landing pages, we harvest the emails from the landing pages, and then landing pages have lead magnets and give information, and then use the emails to we haven't developed that in a smooth operation as of yet, but that is we're in that process.
Very good. Very good. Then you're ready. You're ready. And if you sold a couple of $1,000, you're ready. If you're marketing consistently, every single solitary person should be on the paid plan on Facebook and Instagram. It's one of these things you just can't get emotional about. The entire world is on it. All the people that are coming to your website, all the people that have bought, will bought, and will continue to buy your art are on those platforms. And so you want to remain top of mind at all times. By the way, $5 a day gets it done for most of you. Sometimes you won't even spend that much because your audience isn't that big. Then as you get a little bit bigger, it moves to $10 a day. Then it gets a little bit bigger. You move to 15 to 20, and you just kind of scale up with it. And that's how it works.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm sure the tutorial you're working off is a little dated, but it'll conceptually, it's still dead on. The software for sure changes, but not much I can do on that one. Okay, Amzi, you're up. Go ahead, Amzi.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna, do this whole thing with the site and all. I have a friend who paints my clothing. I come up with design, she paints it, and she also does her own designs painting clothing.
Okay.
And so, if I come on and or when I come on and get Ames Adams Fine Art through art storefronts, is there a way to put her on there in that section? Because I don't want to paint.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all day,
clothing.
all day, all day, all day. You
Okay.
it's just a normal e-commerce store. It's set up for wall art, but you can sell any item you want in there.
Okay, but I can sell it painted by her, say, or
for sure.
Pants.
Yeah.
Okay. People try and buy them off me all the time, and I can't sell them because I don't make them.
Yeah. I'm more and more coming to realize that it's less Amzi Adams Fine Art, and it's like Amzi Adams. You just got a personality store. Everything in your crazy personality all in the one shop. I mean, you could be putting your guitars in there too, Amzi. You might as well sell everything, right? Because you are the brand without question.
I get it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Amzi. Love it. Great question. Anyone else on questions? If you want, get in the chat, or you can raise a hand. Okay, Jeremy, I see you. And then I'll have one more announcement, and then we'll go from there. Jeremy, you're up. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, I've got a question about how the software works when it comes to dynamic product ads. So can you export out catalogs from the system so that you can import them right back into Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't see a lot of people having a lot of success with that, though, admittly.
Yeah, I mean, I've followed some of the people who are already using your product and can tell that they're finding, that things are working and are successful.
Yeah. I think art and photography are just super nuanced sales, right? It's like, as much as we try to put it into the traditional e-commerce box, and what Jeremy is asking is like, let's say I go to Tony's website, right? And I view Tony's photograph of the Matterhorn, right? The Matterhorn will automatically follow me around the internet for the next 30 days. That works really well in a traditional e-commerce type of a scenario setting, right? Like you go and look at a pair of shoes, or you go and look at a new barbecue, and then that thing follows you around, whether you're on the New York Times or a surfing website or whatever it is. So it's nice to have that feature, because let's say you have 3,000 products in your store and you don't want to create an ad for each one of those. And so the Facebook dynamic catalog ads does this for you generically. But the reason I don't really like it is because art sales don't usually work like that, not as well, right? I don't see so many having a tremendous amount of ROI. It can work for some people, but I honestly believe the future of selling art and photography online is kind of what I alluded to earlier, which is a hybrid of a little bit of hand-to-hand combat and your website helping out and giving you an assist too. But do I think if you had 30 sales in a month, you would talk to 30 buyers? No, but I think you talk to 20 of them. And I think it's way more advantageous to do that and get those sales over the line, especially as you raise your prices, as it is to do any other, digital ad trickery, I would say. Okay, I think you muted. Yep. Okay, he did. All right, Bill, you're up next. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Patrick. I've been following you for a couple months now, and just I've enjoyed this one-on-one, so it works.
Oh, thanks.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been looking into your competition, and actually may or may not be your competition, but just your thoughts on the David Edmonds and the Renee Christensen's, and because they are touting not to spend a lot on the website, and they're promoting that pretty heavily right now. So just what your
I agree with them 1,000%. I agree with them 1,000%. Like, you don't have a website problem. You have a marketing problem, right? At the end of the day, that's it. You have a marketing problem. So that's the biggest problem you have to solve. And the problem is, it's not like, you know, a Rubik's Cube where you twist at it a little bit and it's fixed. It will always be your problem. It is every digital business's biggest problem. You need to continue growing leads. You need more eyeballs. You need more traffic. The digital landscape out there, they're moving the goalposts constantly, i.e. updating the stupid Facebook ads interface every other week. So it's why we designed around the concept of, and why we cost what we do. You're essentially paying a one-time tuition into a university where the learning never stops. That's it. It will never stop. The Zoom calls that we have teaching marketing week in, week out will never stop. They can't. It takes that long to learn how to do everything. And so you could potentially get away without having the website, period. And you could have no website at all. Okay. You could just sell directly from the socials, use Venmo, use PayPal, don't even have a bank account or a merchant account in the slightest, and do it that way. But you still have to do the marketing. The marketing is the most important thing. And unless you're going to get continued education in that, you're going to have to get very good at it on your own. So, you know, if there's a shortcut to success, it's mostly marketing, a little bit website. And then the website becomes more and more important as you drive more and more traffic. But early on, it makes no difference. That's just the truth.
And then a quick question about, can 3 or 4 artists, if we're similar, I'm a photographer, get together and do one site?
Yeah, you could. That would essentially just make you a gallery. The problem in that is somebody owns it, right? And if all 4 artists are, you know how that works, right? Like, who's doing what, who owns it, like, where's the traffic coming from, like, you know, yeah. So that's how that goes.
And then I think you sort of touched on this, but about how much more will you need to allocate in marketing funds?
Yeah, 0 up front. That's what's great. Or very little, I should say, up front. So most of the time when people come in, it's the chicken and the egg, right? Like, don't have a huge email list, don't have huge social followings, don't have access to attention, right? So you need to start building that out. What's the best way to do that? You have to learn how to do 100 push-ups early on. 100 push-ups, the analogy, I'm sure you've heard me say it, yeah. To build up those marketing muscles. And sometimes that process can get done in 3 to 6 months. Sometimes it takes a year, right? To get good at it and build up steam and get momentum and get going on everything. In between, we have some hacky stuff that revolves around print giveaways, but the print giveaways are extremely inexpensive. You know, $25 to $50 per, and you can sort of think of it as a way of advertising in a sense. So we have you do a bunch of that, but we don't even recommend you do any Facebook ads whatsoever, i.e. where the costs start coming in, until you're over $2,500 in sales and until you've met some certain requirements in terms of your marketing muscles. You are doing the 100 push-ups. So once you get there, then you start spending. So you don't start spending anything aside from the print giveaways, which will solve the chicken and the egg problem early on. So that's what I'd say.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. In the chat, I got, do you think it's wise to try launching your shop similarity to Jeff Walker's launch method? Yeah, you sent me an email about this, I think. I resonate with your emphasis on marketing in a way. It's like no marketing, no business. What would be your number one marketing advice to an artist who already has a nice website and is about to start selling online using a Square shop? My advice would be to start selling. Start selling, full stop. Everyone wants to focus on all of the trickery, you know, the website or this marketing technique or that marketing technique. Like, to get started, if you've not validated your art, i.e. sold your art to people not named mom, brother, sister, family, friends, then you don't know if your art will sell. And so what everyone likes to do is think about all the nonsense that they need to figure out whether or not their art will sell. You don't need any of that nonsense. All you need is the product, okay? And when I say the product, I mean the product ready to hang. 1 second, I'm gonna have to go grab them. You are not selling, any of you, 2D images. You are selling something that hangs on the wall, that is ready to hang on the wall. That is the finished product. It doesn't matter if it's wood. It doesn't matter if it's acrylic. It doesn't matter if it's metal. It's ready to hang. This is what you sell. You don't sell two-dimensional images. You sell things that hang on the wall, okay? And there's ways to talk about them and there's ways to sell them, right? You don't have these, which is the finished product in which you sell. You are not serious. You are not in the game. You know, the analogy I always use is, if I asked you to sell knives door to door for me, what would you do? Would you show up at the door with a catalog with a picture of the knives? Or would you show up with the knives? Then why does everyone think they can get away with selling knives on a catalog with 2D images? That's what everyone does. No one ever actually gets the originals or gets the actual samples if you're selling prints. I mean, if you're just doing originals, you have them. If you're not, and you're doing prints, you better have the prints. You better be able to articulate the differences. And guess what? Take this, okay? Go live on whatever social platform you have and start talking about it and see if you can sell it. Well, do I need a website? No. Tell them to send you a direct message, to email you, to send you a text, and you'll send them a PayPal or a Venmo link. So figure out how to sell. Melissa, you don't need any fancy Jeff Walker launch course or anything else. You need to determine that the art will sell and that you can sell it to strangers. And the only measurement that matters, which is capitalism and the exchange of dollars. Once you've done that, you know that you have a product the market wants, then you're ready to start working in earnest on your marketing. But you know, I always give this analogy of, okay, Bill's got a restaurant and I've got a restaurant. We both want to become restaurateurs. We've never been restaurateurs ever, right? We just haven't. So what do? I think through my process. I spend 2 weeks making a business plan. I take the business plan down to the bank. I argue and I haggle with them. Credit all sorted, okay. I get the loan. Then I go out and I start looking for spaces, okay. And I try to find a space and I start negotiating on that lease and I lock up a 3-year lease. Then I go out and buy the decor and then I start hiring and then I rent the kitchen equipment and then I get ready for my grand opening and I open the door, okay? And it turns out nobody wants my damn food. They don't like it, okay? I'm not getting any repeat business. I'm gonna have to close that restaurant down. So in those first 2 weeks that I was working on my business plan, what did Bill do? He went to Costco, spent $125 on a roller cart, made a batch of tacos and pushed it into an office building, uncovered it. The smell was there. The steam was coming off of it. And he's like, hey guys, tacos for sale. Tacos for sale. Let me know. And people started coming down from the office and they started lining up and they're like, oh my gosh, this is really good. And he did it 3 days in a row and he sold out every day. And the final day, the building owner comes down, the landlord, he's like, you know, you could have asked me to sell in my building, Bill. Okay, you got some balls on you. But at the same time, this is so good. People in this building like this so much. We'd like you to come back 3 days a week. Guess what? Now Bill goes down to the bank, okay, gets his loan, starts a restaurant, and guess what? He's got demand pouring out the door because he knows his product would sell, right? So like early on, you got to just determine that the product is going to sell, that you have a restaurant that people are actually going to want to eat at. And everyone talks about the complications and fancy this and fancy that you need to get going. All nonsense. Here's what it is. Figure out a way to sell it. See whether or not it'll sell. If it'll sell, you're good to go. You're ready to start it in your marketing. If you've already been at this a while and you determined that obviously you've sold thousands over the years and everything else, you're probably in a situation where, boom, COVID hit, your offline revenue sources are toast, you're well into your career, and you're like, oh my God, do I have to start all over again? Sadly, the internet do not give a damn how good you were in your offline retail life or how many years, just doesn't care. It's all about attention. Every single solitary one of your businesses can be summed up in a simple equation. It's a mathematical equation. It is A plus B times C. A, if you have a sale, you need to have an incentive, some percentage off. B, you need to have scarcity, i.e. it's going to expire, 30% off. It's expiring in 48 hours. Okay, A plus B times C, the attention that you have. People on your email list, the people on your social platform, the people who you can get the art in front of, get the sale in front of. That's it. It's a simple equation. It's just math. And it doesn't matter how good you are or what your previous reputation is. If you don't have access to attention, the currency in today's land, you're not in the game. That's it. And it's in many ways humbling, but in other ways really profound too, because you can reach more people. You don't have to leave your house. You can cultivate your own collectors. There's no 50-50 split. But in the meantime, in the short term, you got to do the work, which is just sort of how it goes. So, yeah. Last week of the month, we have a huge sale going on. It is our pre-Black Friday sale. I think it quite literally ends Friday. So if you get a demo in and you talk to someone on our outreach team, what happens when you request a demo? And April will put a link in the chat if you're in this department. The outreach team calls you. You can ask all the questions, pricing, this, that, the other, figure out if you actually want to sit down and go through the whole hour demo of the software. They'll set you up with the demo. And if you get in by Friday, you get a pretty significant savings and I think some additional free months or something, the pre-Black Friday sale. So big deal. If you're ready to do that. If you're not ready to do that, get validating that art. And other than that, it's been a blast. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. And I hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful week. On that note, see you guys later.